Hello everyone. So myself Purushotham, working as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science Engineering, MLR. In this session, I am going to talk about static variables. In previous class, we already discussed local variables and instance variable. Now in this session, we are going to talk about a static variable. Now what is a static variable here? So static variable means if any variable, if it is declared inside a class outside a method with a static keyword, then it is called a static variable. So instance variable and static variable, the representation is the same. The only the difference is we here in static variable will use a static keyword. So suppose if you take an example, here I have a class, the class name is a test. Now this class is having a variable. Now the variable is A, and this A is declared with a static keyword, okay, and this variable we are declared inside a class and outside of the method. So simple, if any variable, if it is declared inside a class outside of the method with a static keyword, then it becomes a static variable, okay. So here A is a static variable, so here we mentioned with a static keyword. So this is a static variable, A becomes a static variable here. Static variables also called class variables. Why means all these static variables always associated with a class, and by using class name we can call the static variables. So because of they are associated with a class and common to the all instance of the classes. Means, so here I have an example. So here the class name is a college name. So college name I will declare it as a static. So let's take the college name is MLR. Now this college is having some object, means this class having some objects. So object is S1 and S2, S3 and so on. Now S1 is having their own properties like name. Suppose let's take Ram. And here name, let's take name as a Sita, okay, some other names. Now the college name for S1 is a MLR, and for college name for S2 also MLR. Means static variables will be maintained only one copy for all objects, and if any changes are done in one object, if any changes are done in the root level, means class level, that will be reflect on all objects. So suppose assume this college name is, now it is MLR. Suppose if you are changing this to what, Arundhati, now it will affect for what, all objects. So S1 it will get affected, and S2 and S3 for all objects it will affect. So that is the meaning of this statement. So here static variables will be, so because they are associated with the class and common to the all instance of the variables. So all a static variable will be associated with the class, associated with the root level, and it will common to the what, every object in the class. So static variables are created while class loading time and destroyed at class unloading time. So among all three variables, the class static variables will be get initialized first. While the .class file is loading into the physical memory itself, all your static variable will get initialized. So when your static data or static variable will be get initialized means while .class file is loading into the physical memory, and when it will be destroyed means when the .class file is unloading from the memory. Okay, so these static variables will be get initialized and get destroyed while class loading and while class unloading time. So all static variables will be stored within method area. Okay, as we know that in JVM having different physical memories. Okay, so these are the different memory areas in the JVM. So heap area, method area, JVM stack, native method stack, and PC registers. Now where your static data will be stored means your static data will be stored, all static variables, it may be static variables, static method data, static block data. So all static data, all static variable data will be stored in the method area. So static variables can be accessed from any area directly. So it may be instance area, it may be static area. So without creating object itself directly, we can access static variables inside instance area and as well as inside static area we can access all static variables. So all these points I will explain the programmatically. Okay, so static variables can be accessed by using objects and also by using class name. As we know that the static variables are always associated with a class. So by using class name we can access, or also by using objects also we can access the static variables. So initialization of a static variable here also not mandatory. Okay, just like the previous one, instance variable, the initialization of instance variable is not mandatory. The same the way initialization of a static variable also not mandatory, So if you are not initialized, what will happen means the JVM automatically allocates the default values. The JVM automatically allocates the default values. So suppose you take an example here. So here I am taking one example. So here class name is a student and it is having one static variable. So static variable is a college name. Now it's a college name, it is declared with a static keyword, so then it becomes what? A static variable. So this variable we declared inside a class and outside of the method. So here the string variable I declared inside a class and outside of the method, and with a static keyword then it becomes a static variable. Right. Now this static variable we can access inside an instance area and as well as we can access inside a static area. So in previous case instance variables are not allowed inside a static area, but this variable is a static variable and this method is a static area. So these are the same members, so directly you can access inside a main method without creating object we can access. Okay, now so this is the first way, directly we are accessing the college name, and the second way by using class name we can access, and third way by using object. See here I created object, intentionally I created object, and by using this object also we can access this static variables. So in three ways we can access, but so which one is a recommended means the second one is a recommended, this one is a recommended. Why second one is a recommended means? So as we know that the static variables, the static data always associated with a class. Okay, by using class name we can call what static variable, that is a recommended practice. Okay, so these points again I will explain the programmatically. So here I will take intentionally I will take instance variable and as well as I will take string college name. Here I am taking MLR. Now these two are now instance variable. If you are using a static keyword before instance variable, then it becomes a static variable. Now I will access a college name inside main method. Why? The college name is declared with a static keyword. So main method is a static keyword. So directly we can access here, no problem. Okay. So if you run, it will execute. See here, it will print MLR. But we cannot access this name. See here. So suppose if you are trying to access name, it will throw error. Why? Means a name is an instance variable and the college name is a static variable. That is the difference. So name is an instance variable, we cannot access inside a static area, but a string college name is a static variable, so we can access inside a static area directly. So in different ways we can access this static variables. This is the first way, directly you can access, and the second way by using class name. So this is the recommended one, student dot college name. So this is also possible. If you run, it will print 2 times MLR. And third way is by creating object. So here I will create object student s equals to new student system.out.println s dot college name. Now you can see here 3 times MLR is printing. So in 3 ways we can access these static variables. The first way is what? Directly we can call a static variable inside a main method, and second way by using what class name we can access, and third one by creating object reference also we can access the static variable. So which one is the recommended one, which one is a good programming practice means the second one is a good programming practice. So calling all static variables by using class name is a recommended programming practice. So as we know that a static variable initialization is optional here. Initialization optional means, so suppose if you are not initialize the static variable, so by default it will take the default value. So let's take an example like boolean. So suppose B I am taking. Now the boolean B is declared with a static keyword, so means the B becomes a static variable. So inside a static area we can access directly. So here I will print a B here. Now if you print B here and not initialize, so it will take a default value. The default value of the boolean is a false. So default value of the string, so let's take an example like, so suppose static string yes, and if you are trying to print yes here, and it will print null. So inside static area we are accessing, and same the way we can also access instance variable. Okay, let's take an example. So public void m1 is a method and it's an instance method. No static keyword is applied here, so it is what instance method. Now within this method also we can access the static variable. So I will call the college name. Directly I can call, or else student dot college name. Okay, so here if you want to, so now this m1 is a instance variable or instance method. This instance method directly we cannot access inside a static area. Now what we need to do means we need to create object. So it may be instance variable, it may be instance method. Compulsory we need to create object, then only we can access inside a static area. So here I am created object to the student and I am calling m1 method. Now here the point is what? The static variables we can access inside a static area directly, as well as we can also access inside a inside instance method. So this is the instance method, and here I created and I am calling instance method. So if you run this one, it will print MLR. That's about a static variable.